when you got into your first relationship that you first experienced the things you saw, the abuse against women?
19.
And what was that like for you when you first experienced your? Did it start out emotionally, verbally? How did you start experiencing your first abuse from your first partner?
Well, we met when we were drinking, and so I was still kind of in my addiction. Well, I was in my addiction yet, and I remember I tried to taper off, but I didn't see the point in it because I was so bored. And he would always make remarks about because I was Native American and this and that, and he was white, and so there was always some sort of racist remark that he always made towards me. I never took it personal because I was like, oh, well, he must really be digging me because he's making all these comments and noticing stuff about me. That was my thought. That's what I was thinking because I saw it in my mom's relationship, and my sister's relationships, and so I was like, maybe it's gonna work.
So in those times, did he start raising his voice? Did it ever get physical?
After I had our first child, it did. He would taunt me, and I'd just go to my room and cry, and he would like hold our daughter and tell me, put me down.
Would this be always influenced by drugs or alcohol, or would it be everyday life situations, dealing with financial struggles, living situations, or him just coming home from having a bad day? Or how would these situations play out, and what would they always be around?
At that time, we didn't have any financial struggles, and I quit drinking after I had our first daughter. I got sober for like 5 years, but he was still in his addiction. He still smoked weed all the time, and so if I didn't have money for him to get his weed, then he would always start picking on me, and then it would go from there.
So when was the actual first time that it got physical?
We were staying with his mom, and I got off from work, and he just kept picking on me and wouldn't stop because he wanted me to smoke weed with him, and I didn't want to because I had work the next day, and I was like, I have to go to work yet, and then he just called me a pushover and this and that, and said I don't like having any kind of fun anymore. And so I was like, I don't need this, I'm going to go over to my mom's. And he followed me out to the car, and he didn't want me to leave. He said, no, I don't want you to go to your mom's. And then he punched me in the face and told me, well, you're just going to go, then go. And that's where it all started.
So after experiencing that first physical abuse, what was going through your mind as in regards to seeing it as you growing up?
It was just more of how could my mom and them put up with this, because it really hurt my feelings, and I didn't know how to take it. I just went to my mom's and went into the room and told her that we were fighting, and I just went in the room and cried myself to sleep. And she asked me the next day, did he hit you? And I was like, yeah. She said, well, I noticed something was different, because usually you'll talk about it, but you just went into the room and cried. And yeah, and so that was a lot of what went through my head, was how could my mom just go through it? How could my sister just go through it and just take it and accept it?
So were you ready to end the relationship, or did you guys continue on?
I was ready to end it, and I had told him before that, I could just walk away and I'd be fine. Because I was tired of him making fun of me all the time. Because that was his biggest issue, was because I was Native American, and he had to always throw that into every argument we ever had. Oh, you're just Native, you're going to go run back to your mom, and you're going to do this, you're going to do that. And so, it's like, you knew I was Native when we got together, and so, like, a lot of it, that's where it all came from. And I was already ashamed that I was Native American because of the way I grew up. And so that's all that was ever thrown in my face was, oh, you're just a dirty Indian. So...